Welcome to OpenMentor.net. In this session, we are going to talk about how to do test planning using QAMonitor. The previous sessions, we have seen how to create projects, how to create users, how to assign roles, and how to add requirements. Once you log in as a user, you will go to the default project. Since in the last demo we have added 4 requirements, it shows out here, but there are no test cases as of date in this particular project. To add test cases, go to test plan. Once you go to that particular plan, that tab, it has got a left hand side folders, right hand side for the test cases. There is a module management. This module management is like a typical functional management, functional blocks of the product. Right now there are no modules. If you want to add modules, go to manage module. You can add a new module. For example, I can say purchase. You can have a code and the name different. It's up to the company or the project as per the policies. Now I add one more module called inventory. So there are 2 modules now added into this one. So I want to add some test cases for the inventory module. Select that. Then there's a root over here. On the left hand side, you can add test case folders over here. Typically these folders are like companies call them as business scenarios or business conditions. So I add a folder like GRN tests. Then I want to have one more folder like stock tests. So you can have any number of folders, subfolders in this one. Once you have module and then the folders added, then you can add test cases. If I click on add test case, it says no current version found. Pretty much like requirements, you need to have a draft version defined for test cases. To do that, go to the settings. If you go to the code master over here, you can see test case version. If you go to the test case version, then right now there is only one version 1.0. okay, and then there is another thing called type. This is not the test case type, this is the project type. Now there is a field called build. All these things will come for test execution, not at the time of the test planning. Okay, let us close this. We know there is a version 1.0. First someone has to make it a draft. If you go to the baseline test case version, then first choose this, set a new current version as a draft version. You choose 1.0 of first release, give some notes, then save that. Now this particular version is set as draft. Now let us come back to the test plan tab. Now this will allow you. Now you can choose this purchase. There is no folder added under that. Now I choose inventory. The folders, 2 folders that we added, it's all there. Now I go to this add. It shows you the test case information. Right now in this particular project, the test case code is auto generated with the prefix TC, so this field is not enabled. Test case name, let us say generate GRN for one item. So you can add the test case name, you can choose the priority, the version is 1.0, then you can choose the type is either automated or manual. Right now we say manual. The date, again this is not a mandatory field, so we set it as 18. You can have a detailed description of the particular test case over here if you want to have. Most of the times companies prefer a simple test case name as one line, then multiple test steps. If you want to add a test steps, then say add PO must be available is the precondition. Now the test step description, go to GRN window, then add another step. For every step description is mandatory but not precondition and expected results. Some steps may have precondition, some steps may have expected results, but every step must have a description. Click on add, enter item PO quantity details, then add, click save grn. Okay, now the expected result is the grn is saved and a new ID is generated. So this is the test case steps. Once you do that, if you want to have any attachments, you can do that. If you have any test scripts, so that the tester has to execute those scripts manually under the prompt or some system, you can attach them also. Then save. Once you save this, if you close this window, the test case appears over here. Then if you expand this, the test steps appear over here. You can resize these columns to make it clear for you to view. So if you look here, this is a single test case with the precondition, step description, expected result. Okay, now I want to make another test case exactly like this. If you see here, the test case code has been generated as TC1 automatically. Now what I do is I select this test case, I copy that, then I paste it. Okay, the moment you paste it, it added as TC2. It has generated a new ID. But what I need to do is I need to go and then edit some of the information. So I go here, instead of one item, what I want to do is says with 2 items. Enter item PO quantity details. Then what I want to do is I want to add one more test step. Enter second item PO quantity details. Okay, so this is the same test case, just we modified and then added a new step. Those 2 test cases are now different. Save that, you come back. That is also done. Now if you see, this is for adding 1 item in the grn, this is for 2 items in the grn. With just a click away, it has been added. If your test cases are already there, and if you want to see all of them with the test steps, just click expand all. Now you could see everything with the steps. If you say collapse all, everything goes off. Now you can resize these columns the way you want. If I want to have all my test cases in an Excel sheet, then import them from an Excel sheet, you can use this import feature. How do I do that? Very simple. Click on this import. It gives you a sample file. Use the sample file to load and then edit that file, or you can make your Excel file to have columns with those things, with the one that is given in the sample. Let us do that. If you see this Excel sheet, this has got a code, name, description, version, priority with some column names. If you see here, all the details are appearing once. Then the preconditions, you can have multiple preconditions. Every line must have a definite test step. You may have expected results, you may not have expected results for certain steps. Once you prepare this based on your Excel functional expertise of that application, then close this file, then come back, take that, pretty much like you import the requirements, you import test cases also. Choose the file, select this as yes, you understood the above notes, upload. Once you do that, this will ask you map the fields. For example, the expected result is a field that is required for test case, that is coming from expected result column of the Excel sheet. Now there's a description that comes from the description field of the test case Excel sheet. Then precondition comes from precondition field. Priority comes from priority field. So you need to map what all the thing that there is a steps that comes to the steps description. Test case code. Now you have the code. Test case name is this name. If you have a test case type, we don't have a test case type in this particular, so it's not mandatory. Version, we give this version. Okay. Now click save. Once you save, it says version 2.0 is not available because in the Excel sheet that we have done, okay, if you open that particular document, it has a field 2.0 because this 2.0 is not a valid version. We have only 1.0, so we use that 1.0. Then save this file again, do the import again. This is important because your file, Excel file, may have editorial errors, so you need to make sure all those editorial errors are taken care before you import. Once you make those corrections, re-import. At this point it is saying like added 4. Now if you see here, though you have given a separate set of codes, okay, let us go to that file, copy of the test case document. You have given TTC6, TTC7 as the code, but in this particular project the test case code is set as auto generated, so he ignores the code in your Excel sheet. He auto generates the code TC3456 as a sequential number. If you expand all, you could see all the test steps that you have given in your Excel sheet that appears right here. So either way, you can add manually one after the other, or you can have all those details in your Excel sheet, map the Excel columns to the fields in QAMonitor, then import. In this session, just to recapture, what we have done is we have created modules, we have added folders as business scenarios, then we manually added test cases, we set the current version, then we import the test cases from Excel sheet. Thank you.